Warframe has existed for a few years and was one of the first games I ever downloaded on my fresh PS4. It was also one of the first games I ever deleted because I just couldn't get into it. Flash forward to 2018 and it's obvious that there's some serious hype going on. Short version is that the developers have stayed true to their vision with Warframe and continue to provide incremental updates and improvements over the years, and they've grown a solid devoted fanbase. Last year came the first of the high-profile changes that really exploded beyond the core fanbase, with an open-world section that was the first indication that Warframe was, making some big shifts to its core gameplay ideas. The announcement this year took it into an entirely new level, with space combat, shipboarding, hoverboards. It honestly just looks sweet, even from somebody who's not playing the game. Bringing us to today, the wider gaming community is kinda hyped, and I'm not immune to that hype, especially the hype about an online co-op space ninja shooter looter, which is kind of my thing.
It's right up your alley.
I think. Is that even an accurate description? I don't even know. So hey guys, it's Sun for Games, bringing you, as always, a healthy mix of videos on new releases and MMOs, and nostalgia tricks for the classics that made us fall in love with games in the first place. And while not a new release, it's fair to say that some of the newer changes and announcements are what's driving the growing interest in Warframe today, so it's close enough. Fact of the matter is, this is an incredibly large and deep game, and I'm just starting to skim the surface of it on my current playthrough, but so far it's been incredibly rewarding and fun, and from everything I've heard, it's only supposed to get better. So what's drawn my interest? While my main passion has been focused on full MMO experiences like Final Fantasy XI, 14, other MMOs, I originally was drawn to that genre by a more co-op looter-focused game, namely Diablo 2. While MMOs are great, having a leveling or progression experience with a few friends in smaller bite-sized chunks of time or content is fantastic, especially if that is tied to a persistent growing world, or in this case, universe. Warframe definitely offers this, with 1 to 4 players being able to engage in quests and missions throughout the universe, using fast-paced ninja gameplay to tear through enemies like knife through paper. So what's with this space ninja thing? Honestly, I'm still kind of working on that, because there's a lot of lore and background story to be found here from all that I've heard, and it hasn't really been fully revealed to me at this stage in the game. Warframes, the action suits that you wear, act much like classes though, offering unique traits and abilities that make each of them a distinct playstyle. You can carry a primary and secondary weapon with you, as well as a melee weapon, and these can be anything from bows to bolt guns to machine gun pistols to throwing knives. I mean, the variety is pretty sweet, and you feel very ninja-like. The melee weapons I've seen are axes, staves, swords. I'm really excited to explore all the different playstyles, but there's just a lot. If I sound a little vague on the details, it's because I am. I've only recently started to delve into some of the options that are available to me. For the first, I don't know how many hours, I kind of just ran through with the standard gear set you're given. I think I changed out from the bow right away because it was kind of hard, and the machine gun felt more natural to me. But other than that, I pretty much stayed with the standard setup. I had a free ice-based Warframe that sounded pretty cool, so I tried that out. I think it was like a free Twitch Prime download from last year. But the progression paths and how to improve my gear, how to get different gear, I was a little confused about for a little while. And then there's the mod process, which I've only started to fully understand, which adds upgrades to your weapons and armor. These can be used to enhance damage, elemental effects, and can interact with each other in unique ways. If you combine like ice and I think it was toxin, for instance, you get like a plague effect that's added to your weapon, and you can see that as a stat. And I thought that was pretty impressive that they could work together that way. Obtaining these from missions is always exciting to see how you might be able to swap in or out different mods to make an overall improvement to the stats of the piece. And there's just a lot to go in there, and they don't shove it all in your face at once. I kind of stumbled across the process that you can even improve those mods by, I think, combining multiple versions of the same one and paying with another resource. This makes them like insanely more powerful. I went from a 20% critical hit rate thing to like 150% critical hit rate thing on one mod alone. That's going to be one of the more crucial aspects of improving your overall damage and effectiveness. But again, there's a ton and I've barely scratched the surface, so I'm probably making mistakes. I might not be supposed to be doing this, who knows. Warframe does seem to try to be easing me into it, and honestly, that's totally cool with me, because the focus so far has been, can you figure out how to play the game, run, shoot, jump, and hit things in the face? And honestly, oh man, is it cool. This is actually what kept me away from the first time as I approached Warframe last year, because it almost sounds like you're cheesing the game. By sliding, jumping again, hovering if necessary, and then sliding again, you can build up some crazy speed and momentum. I mean, you're like flying. This reminded me of some kind of jacked up bunny half hops with Falco in Super Smash Bros. And I thought it was kind of like cheating through the game. I didn't think it was a part of the core concept, but it's actively part about how the game flows and was designed. At its core, this game is about grinding parts, drops, experience, resources in general as efficiently as you can. One of the important aspects of that is how quickly you can move through your environment and get to your goals. And for the first time in any game ever, getting to where I'm supposed to be is almost more fun than actually being there. It's just so cool. You actually feel like a space ninja. I know that's cliche and stupid, but you're flying through these tunnels and spaceships with enemies that are like turning their heads as you rocket by. They barely can see you as you're moving so fast through their own freaking ship. Then you get to the end, quick assassinate somebody right in the face, and you turn around and you rocket back to the exit, and they're like, what just happened? It's just so cool. And when you time everything just perfectly, it's like hardcore parkour, and using all the movement tools at your disposal to take advantage of your environment for the most breakneck speed you can muster just rocks. And while the combat felt slow and crappy at first, as my skill, equipment, and mods improved, it feels so good to annihilate the shitty enemies that should in no way pose a threat to me, the ultimate space ninja. There's just always progression to be made, and you can feel that progress each mission as you continue to improve. Upgrading the mods, getting new mods, tearing up the equipment, getting blueprints to unlock new equipment, which I finally did figure out is how you get new equipment. If you don't just get a drop directly, which I don't even know if that's possible, you get these blueprints that explain what resources you need to craft the next piece of gear that you're going for. Point is, there's just always something to work towards. Right now I'm just flying aimlessly, following the story and building blueprints as I get them and their appropriate resources, but I can see how specific goals could totally lead you down a specific track of rewards. Also, I'm a huge fan of things like rare drops, rare enemies. Obviously the notorious monster system in Final Fantasy XI was one of my favorite things ever, and there's no shortage of this concept in Warframe, and it's been super exciting. Obviously some resources you just need thousands of the things, but others they're more rare and you might only need 1 or 2 or 3, and finding that one drop could take you a little while. I'm thrilled to try out some of the new Warframe suits, but each of them can be fairly difficult to craft and obtain for yourself, some more so than others, and I'm already thinking about which I might shoot for first. This is where the free-to-play model comes into play, as many things are purchasable, but ultimately, from what I've read and experienced, I can get anything I want myself as long as I'm willing to grind for it, and that's sort of the game. It's too early for me to say more than that, but the general consensus seems to be that it's a pretty fair model. Ultimately, it's just been a viscerally enjoyable game to play, with the hole that games like Diablo, Destiny, and Division have filled in the past being suspiciously empty at the moment. Warframe has managed to squeeze its way into my day-to-day. I just love having a game like this that I can play for quick bursts or long stretches, that can offer fun and thought-provoking stealth missions, or sneaking in without alerting the enemy is your top priority, or running gun shoot-em-ups where there can be no one left alive. But the absolute best part, I know there's more waiting at the end of the tunnel. Some games like this you eventually look up and say to yourself, like, what am I doing? This game will never change. I'm on an endless loop going nowhere. It's never going to evolve. But with all the work the developers are throwing at it, we know that to not be the case. Hell, I haven't even gotten close to the open environment stuff that was introduced last year, and I can't wait to see how that works. They're obviously taking this in exciting new directions, and I'm even just excited to see how the gameplay evolves as you get to those later tiers and higher levels. To some of you, this may not be news. Like I said, this game has been out for a while and has a really devoted fan base. But for me, I really just didn't get it, and I'm still not sure that I'm getting why people love it so much. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm totally enjoying myself now, but I feel like in a few weeks I'll be like, oh right, I was so stupid, I missed the whole point. So let me know if you're playing Warframe, let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you've been trying out some of the updates that have come out so far. The space combat sounds really cool, and I can't wait to see how boarding other ships work, and just explore what Warframe has to offer. Keep on the lookout for more Warframe videos in the future, because I do think I'm going to try and take this one a little bit further. And if you're playing something you think is way better, let me know what it is, because I'd love to check that one out too. Otherwise, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you'll like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.